Ever get this like weird feeling scrolling through your feed and bam, it's like you're living in Blade Runner or something?
It's everywhere, right?
Totally. So today we're doing a deep dive on how cyberpunk went from this niche thing to like a feeling in the air.
And it's more than just the aesthetic, right? It's like cyberpunk digs into these anxieties we have about tech, about like what even is human anymore in a digital world.
Okay, so rewind with me to like the 80s. Cyberpunk was pretty underground then.
Oh, yeah.
You had William Gibson's Neuromancer, right, hacking the future, and Blade Runner with its mega corporations and like questioning what's even real. When did you first encounter cyberpunk?
You know, what always gets me is how right those early books and films were. I mean, they were imagining virtual reality, these huge corporations with way too much power, no privacy.
Yeah.
Stuff that's like the news every day now.
It's like they put it on fast forward.
Right.
And nobody asked if we wanted the express route to a cyberpunk future.
Right.
But it's wild how those anxieties they tapped into are playing out on screen now, too. Movies are a dead giveaway that cyberpunk isn't just fiction anymore.
Totally. And they're not just entertainment. They make you think about this stuff. Like, look at The Matrix. That whole idea we're plugged into some simulation run by machines makes you wonder what's real, who's in control.
Right. Or Ghost in the Shell. Tech letting us mess with our bodies, our minds, even. Are we even human at that point?
Yeah.
It's getting less theoretical by the day.
And those are just the classics. You've got newer films like Blade Runner 2049, shows like Altered Carbon. We're not just talking dystopian cities now. It's climate change, bioengineering, how this tech could make inequality even worse.
It's like, are we the good guys in our own story?
Yeah.
Or are we slowly becoming the villains in some cyberpunk thing we're making without realizing it? But it's not all doom and gloom, right? Even the music captures that vibe, but like with a beat.
Absolutely. And it's the attitude too, right?
Yeah.
Think Grimes, right?
Yeah.
Her whole thing, the music, the visuals, it's very cyberpunk, but there's more to it.
Okay, break down the Grimes connection for me. What makes her the cyberpunk icon?
It's how she mixes the like real and the fake, the human and the tech. Distorted vocals, heavy electronic stuff, lyrics about AI, being watched, all that. She's not shying away from those anxieties, but it's still catchy, you know? Plus, visually, it's all cyberpunk fashion, tech, that blurred line between what's real and what's digital.
It's like she's making the soundtrack to how messed up things are, but you can still dance to it.
Yeah.
And it's not just her, right? You've got Nine Inch Nails. They've had that whole dystopian sound for ages.
Oh, for sure.
Like, they knew, like, way back, you know, before it was even cool to be cyberpunk.
And that's what's so powerful about music, right? It gets at how you feel about this stuff, not just the ideas.
Right, right.
That feeling of being alone, of someone controlling you, wanting to just like break free, music just gets that.
Totally. It's like the soundtrack to our own cyberpunk stories, even if we don't know the whole plot yet. But speaking of personal, this is where it gets really interesting. Remember when techwear was everywhere? All of a sudden, everyone's got these sleek outfits like they walked out of a video game.
Yeah, yeah.
Cyberpunk fashion went mainstream.
What gets me about techwear is it's not just fashion, right? It's functional, too. Those clothes, they're made for cities, hidden pockets, weatherproof, that whole practical edge.
It's like we're all low-key dressing for the part, ready to, like, hack something or vanish into the city lights.
Right.
But it goes beyond clothes even. Think about online, right? Instagram filters, perfect feeds, those virtual influencers. It's like we're making these cyberpunk versions of ourselves.
Totally. That line between what's real and what's fake, it's so blurry now. You put your best self out there, and that starts to change how you see yourself in real life, too. Like this weird loop.
And isn't that like the cyberpunk thing? That messed up reality, not knowing who you even are, that we're not in control of our own stories anymore, kind of freaks me out when I think about it too much.
It's wild how much we're okay with it, though. We build these online personas, these digital worlds. We're even, like, friends with AI now.
Right.
It makes you think, what does it even mean to be human when everything's getting so fake?
So we're living in this world, right, with cyberpunk everywhere, even if we don't always see it. But why does it even matter? Is it just like a cool aesthetic, or is there more to it?
I think it's, like, way deeper than just looking cool. You know, it's like cyberpunk isn't just sci-fi anymore. It's like bleeding into everything. It's showing us who we are, who we're becoming, all that.
It's definitely a warning, right? But there's also that challenge in cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
It usually shows these futures where, like, everything's grim, tech controls everything, right?
Yeah.
But there's always that little bit of hope, too.
Right. Those hackers, the rebels, the artists, like, pushing back against it all. Always loved that.
Yeah.
Exactly. They show you don't have to give in. And that's what's so cool about Cyberpunk. It gets that tech can go really wrong, but there's always a way to fight back, to not be controlled, to make your own choices.
It's like that whole thing, using tech to, like, beat the system at its own game.
Yeah.
Hacking, getting info out there, finding ways to resist even when it's bleak. Classic cyberpunk.
And that's what it makes us think about, right? When the world's looking more and more cyberpunk every day, what are we going to do? Just go along with it? Or actually try to make things better?
So it's not just, like, noticing it's there, but deciding what it means for us, how we actually live.
Exactly. Cyberpunk isn't some future prediction. It's like a warning to do something now. We have a choice in how this all plays out. We don't have to be the robots. We can be the ones fighting for something better.
And maybe, just maybe, like, by really looking at this stuff, the good and the bad, it'll help us make a future that's less bleak and a little more human, you know?
It's all about remembering that even when tech's everywhere, we still get to choose. That's a powerful thing.
So next time you're feeling like you're stuck in some cyberpunk movie, remember, you're not powerless. You can question, you can fight back, you can create something new, maybe even get other people doing it too.
The future's not set in stone, right? We're all writing it together. That's cyberpunk too.
So go out there, embrace that cyberpunk spirit, the rebellion, the imagination, and let's make a different kind of future. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, because the world needs your story.